Candice Robinson with plenty of horses at Hollywood Bets Derbyville on Saturday. Thanks so much for your time. Would I be right in saying that this is probably the most amount of horses that you've run in a few months, just judging by the fact that we got clear weather and comfortable with the amount of work that you put in?
Looks like it, Alistair. Not only that, also suitable races. The last couple of meetings, there've been no races for me, even to have horses that are eligible. So it's quite nice to have everybody back again.
Right. Let's start on race one. You got 4 runners. 2 of them are reserves. Let's go with Diamond Bomber, number 6 on the card. Aldo de Mea takes the ride. What's the analysis there?
She's quite a nice filly, Alistair. She's probably looking for a little bit further. I would think she will probably need another run and experience of the run. She's had the 2 runs at Kenilworth. She was green both times, but she is quite a nice filly. However, I think she might just be a little bit green still to start. And
then number 7, Rahaba, so nicely bred, daughter of Vercingetorix out of Eastern Greeting. Nice to have Ian Longmore's colours in the yard. How's she doing?
She too, she's a nice filly. She's not the biggest of fillies. She's quite a slight filly, but very athletic. I took her to Derbyville the other day for the first time. She's one of those that came in later and got left behind with all this rain and that. So she's been a little bit behind with her prep. I'm not actually quite sure what to expect of her first time. She surprised me quite nicely in her gallop. She put up some nice work, but I would think that she's probably going to be a little bit green in a race itself. But she is a nice filly, and I think she'll come on a lot with a run.
And then just quickly, the 2 reserves, we'll talk about them together, Larsa and Superior. Perhaps not ripping up any trees at the moment. If they do get a run, any expectations of improvement?
Not really. I think Superior's she's very small. She's one of those fillies that, Kevin just said, try and see if you can do something with her or try, if she's not any good, then, we won't continue with her. So she is very small. She's got a big little heart and she tries hard, but I think she's going to need a little bit more improving. And the other filly, she's improving all the time. She was drawn very badly last time in green, but I think she'll come on from that. But also, again, probably needs a bit more time.
A horse that interests me is not drawn well. Race 2, number 12, Major Master. Aldo takes her on, the son of Master of My Fate. Lovely female line, famous Lummus Kroll pedigree. How do you see him going first up?
He's a beautiful looking horse, Alistair. I'm sure when you see him in the ring, he's definitely going to catch your eyes. A big black horse, big white face. He's a lovely horse. He really is a lovely horse. He's got all the right attributes to be a good horse. Obviously we're all hopeful that he will be one day. He's a horse that's going to get ground. I would imagine that he will get 1600 plus. So yeah, it's difficult for me to also again to think what he's going to do on Saturday. He's not drawn well. He's drawn 12, which is going to make it a little bit tricky. But he's a nice horse. He'll be running on. Might just be a little bit sharp for him. But all those factors together, he's a very nice horse and maybe one to watch in the future.
Race number 3, 2 runners, 2 lively chances, headed probably by number 8, Master of the Desert. Eye-catching last run. Has he stepped up at all?
Yeah, it was very short for him last time. He was way outpaced in the 1,000. He wasn't the best out of the gates, and then he just got completely outpaced. So he should be better over this. He might even be better over a little bit further. He's out of a sprinting mare, and he's a chunky little horse. So, I'm hoping that this will be the right kind of trip for him. If so, looking at the form, he should have an each-way chance.
And then what about number 12, What a Fortune? Again, not an ideal draw, but I've always thought a little bit about this horse. I don't think he's half bad.
No, he's not, and he's actually doing well at home. He's come on really nicely since he's been gelded, but again, same as last time, he ran on nicely from a bad draw. Again, he's drawn badly, so he hasn't cracked a draw yet at Derbyville, which is tricky for him. He's going to have to be coming from off the pace somewhere, which it's going to be a little bit tricky, and I think it's there are some nice horses in that race, so he'll be running on, but not easy from the draw.
4th race, first leg of the pick 6. Let's talk about them together. 7, The Postman, and 12, Red Dawn. Any improvements expected from either of them?
I would think so over this sort of trip, especially with Red Dawn. I wish he had a better draw again. Never got a great draw, and he's not the quickest into the race either. But he's crying out for this sort of trip. Does, however, need to be gelded. So I think, maybe win, lose or draw here, I think he's going to have to be gelded. But he's the kind of horse that can improve to have a money chance. The other horse has got a bit more improving to do. I think he's looking for 2,000 meters, so he should improve over this trip.
Then race 5, we've got 3 runners, and again, looks difficult to split them. I think they all got winning chances. Let's kick off with number 2, Windrunner. On her day, she can do some damage.
Yeah, she can. I'm not sure. Last time she needed a run quite badly, so she should come on quite nicely from that. Not sure if an 1800's a touch on the far side for her. But it's amongst my 3 there's not much between them.
And then just a quick comment about the other 2 then in isolation. Number 4, Kamikaze, winner of her penultimate start. She does mix her form. And then number 5, St. Bridget, who came out the maidens and ran a fair race post maiden.
She did actually. It wasn't a bad run from her. She found a bit of traffic problems along the way, and she actually ran on quite nicely. She's a very tall, weak filly still, and she's actually looking quite nice at the moment for her probably wanting to go a bit further as well. So she should enjoy the 1800. So she too could be running. And there's not, as I said, there's not much between mine.
Then on to race 6, you got one runner, number 2, Captain Arrow. The interesting dynamic about this race is that of the 7, 6 of them are returning from breaks. Him being one of them. He loves Hollywood Bets Durbanville, though. Do you think we can come up fresh and do something?
I would have said also will need a run back. So you never know where you fit in with all the rest of them that are going to need a run back. He went to the farm for quite a long time for a break and then came back and was obviously, with all this weather and that, it hasn't been easy to get him prepped. He's quite a big horse that takes quite a bit of work. He's had one gallop just recently. So, hard to assess in that field simply because everyone else is coming back for a run. Under normal circumstances, I would have said to you, I think he will need his run back. But he's an honest horse, and I'd like to see him running on too. He's got a good draw.
And then 2 runners in race 8, and the inside draws are going to help. Scarlet McCaw and Babelicious. Let's talk about them together. Scarlet McCaw straight out the maid, and that form is working out quite nicely. I'm so pretty a good winner during the week. And then number 2, Babelicious, are still above average. What are the expectations with these 2?
Scarlet McCaw, as you said, she comes off a nice form line, but it's always tricky first run out the maidens. She's doing quite nicely, but probably out of my 2 fillies, I would think that Babelicious is a better filly than what she is. I think she had a run back at Kenilworth in a winner's race quite some time back, and she ran on very strongly there. She's a filly that I've always rated, and she's strengthened up really nicely now. She's looking outstanding at the moment. I'd like to see a good run from her. Obviously, first run at Durbanville is always a little bit tricky. She's got top weight. I don't know why all my juveniles end up having top weight, but I guess that's the way it is. She's a nice filly and she should be competitive.
And then the last, you got 3 runners, plus 4, very interesting because it took him a while to win a maiden, came out from a break and won a hot maiden, beating some good horses. He's got the advantage of a draw. How's he doing?
You say they've got an advantage of the draw, but by the last race, they're all gunning to the outside and then you end up with a bad draw on the inside. So I don't know so much about the draw. He won his maiden very nicely, and a horse also that we always rated early on, and he kind of lost his way a little bit in the maidens, and I chucked him out for a break and brought him back, and he was doing a lot better when he came back. He's a nice horse, Alistair. I think it's a very open race, so it's a very competitive field. Tricky to be overly confident in that field, but he's doing well at home. As I say, he's got a decent draw, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares amongst those horses, but I'm hoping for a good run.
Any idea which Michael Faraday is going to turn up?
No, very hot. That horse, I don't know. That horse is, some days he can run, he can put the lights out when he's running. Other days he doesn't really try like he can do. I think he should be better off over this sort of trip, better than a 12 for him. But again, it's a competitive field, and I think he probably needs to come down a little bit more in the ratings.
And then finally, number 13, Lunch Money. When he's good, he can be good, and he does kind of give it away on the way down to the start. Any idea how he's going to go?
He actually gives nothing away down to start. He looks awful when he goes down to the start always, but he comes home much better than what he goes down. He's also a tricky horse. He doesn't like Durbanville. Durbanville is not his course. He enjoys Kenilworth, so that for one is a problem. And secondly, we're also drawn badly. So it's going to have to be coming from off the pace. Have to run him in a 14 at Durbanville, otherwise he's completely outpaced. So, not his best track, bad draw. I can't really expect too much.
Candice, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.